Hey, thanks for pressing play on another Pay Me No Mind sports and entertainment video. Um, man, I could go in a lot of different directions. Obviously, as people around the country and throughout the world, I guess, going through different emotions today because of the last night's. And I'm a hip hop head, so while I'm not the biggest fan, or I'm not even that up on Nipsey, the late Nipsey Hussle's catalog and whatnot. Um, Not that I didn't want to be a fan. I did like the joint. Last time that I checked, that was really the one that I was the most familiar with. But so I don't want to sit here and try to say, try to do some clickbait and just speak on it to be speaking on it. And then we don't really, I haven't heard any details to this point. I'm just seeing thoughts of or social media stuff about conspiracy theories with the government being involved because of his activism and his messaging and his the different teachings and the different way he was trying to lead those that followed him. So I don't want to get involved in all of that, and I can't even really speak on a larger issue, my personal issue with the status of hip hop. But what I do want to say, is express condolences to the family. I know he was a father of at least two. I don't know if he's married or just in a relationship with actress Lauren London. I know they do have a child together, but she must be going through some things. And then just salute and love and light to all of the people out there at their stage of life who are looking to Nipsey Hussle and everything that he represented, everything that he was about. That's a big void that needs to be filled. And so I was impressed with a lot of the stories and a lot about the guy I like and respected. Music wise, I've just heard a couple singles today, listening to Sway in the morning, and then another podcast this morning that I'm gonna go check his this Victory Lap album out. I had a big time boxing guy on the podcast last year, and he mentioned that Victory Lap was one of his favorite projects or favorite albums. And I just never really gave it a shot, not for any particular reason, but I heard some soulful stuff today that's what catches my ear. A couple of songs from Nip. So just rest in peace to that brother, man. It's a shame that the game has to be marred with these types of situations so regularly, but it's just look at the imagery and the way that many of the look at where the game is, and look what a lot of it is about, a lot of the subject matter and whatnot, and it's just hard to shut off what has redeeming qualities and what is just a death style versus a lifestyle. I keep going back to that phrase that one of the brothers, one of the gangbangers, former gangbangers, I saw years ago on one of the earlier documentaries about street gangs and whatnot, and the brother just said that this thing that we've started and we keep thriving, it's not a lifestyle, it's a death style. And I thought that always resonated with me, because you have to look at it in those terms if you're keeping it a buck. But moving on to some sports stuff, man. I don't know if you dug into this Kristaps Porzingis case, the latest, with the charges of or a charge of sexual assault, or I think it might even be just flat out rape by a lady who was living in his building. I mean, you get the update on it, on your phone and whatnot, and you want to think, I don't know what you run with. I know now as I was mentioning with the Kubrat Pulev situation and this Jenny Ravallo, known as Jenny Sushi, we got to have out in social media, court of public opinion. We need to have we need to have a decision right now. We got to call it what it is right now, without really investigating and without letting things the proper without letting situations run the proper course. So I get to read into this, and I mean, man, if I had some questions about the Pulev situation, I would go check this out. I don't have, my phone is what I would look it up on, and that's what I'm shooting this on. But there was this case. I don't even know how a lawyer could even bring this thing to to carry it through to the stage that we're at. But according to some of the article that I read, it's part of the facts of it is that there was a $68,000 payment that this lady, I think she's unidentified at this point, but it's a lady that was in Porzingis' building. It happened on the night that he blew out his ACL, and she went up to his apartment to console him or to hang out with him, in the wake of finding out that he has this season-ending injury. But then she went up to go get an item or two autographed, and then they had a discussion about her brother who was in college or something. And so supposedly the act happened. He raped her. He just couldn't say no to her. That's how it was written. Like, he was just overcome by her. And so the alleged act happens. And then it's some time passes. They see each other in the building. And then he made an agreement with her to give her a $68,000 check that would go towards her brother's education. And I'm just like, this sounds super messy. Then it's a document. Oh yeah, it's like a handwritten agreement where Porzingis supposedly signed that he would do this. And he says that it's forged. You just gotta read. I can't even bring it all together right here. I only read through it once, and I just had a chance to skim through it. But I don't even know how this thing even makes it as far as it has. It's unclear whether or not they did have sex or not. I think that's the status on that detail. It's uncertain whether or not they actually had sex or not. But then it was some situations about, it's a lot of text messages that they have out there. And then she even said that she didn't want to, this was her statement, as a fan, as a fan of the Knicks, I don't want to do anything that would break up impact the team or whatsoever. All I really want is for him to do what he said he would do, as far in terms of that $68,000 check. So, like I said, it sounds really messy for me, and I'm just hopeful that it's more substance to it than what was in that initial article that I read, because that's a shame. If anybody's name has to be ran through the mud like this, and it's something that seems to be so frivolous just on the outside looking in, or the initial reports that are coming out. Another thing, I only got a few more minutes before I got to get out of here, but another thing, man, one thing that I complain about in the NBA game is that it appears that coaching can make very little, NBA coaching seems to have very little impact in the big scheme of things. And this wasn't, I don't know if it was evidenced better than last year with the Celtics as they went up against the Cavaliers, I believe. But 2 or 3 of the Celtics in that series, in the last game or whatever. I don't know if it made it to a game 7. I'm older. I don't retain all this information the way that I used to. I apologize. I thought it went to, at least it was a game 6. I know at least went to game 6, but I thought it was game 7. But whatever, it was the final game of the series, and 3 guys on the Celtics went like a combined 3 for 29 or 3 for 37, man, maybe it was 29 from 3-point range. And I was just sitting here, mind gone, that even a coach that's as highly touted and heralded as Brad Stevens, he couldn't even coach his guys to stop shooting the 3 and take 2 or 3 dribbles and get to the free throw line, or free throw line extended, shoot a higher percentage shot, and give yourself a chance to win this game. Man, I might have been mute all that time, and did nobody tell me, the one person that came on there. Now I'm highly concerned. I'm gonna have to go back and check that out. But anyway, I guess I finished my point, and maybe I have to delete this whole take. But the thing was, where was I? Oh, so that's what I was getting at this weekend with watching Bruce Pearl and watching the 2 games in particular with Bruce Pearl and Auburn to take down Kentucky and who's that? I can't even think of the second team. But man, I'm so concerned about the audio now that I don't even know if I really want to go through with this. But his coaching, the dude from Texas Tech, obviously, but then Coach Izzo, to take the group of guys that he has, missing a couple of key players in Arns and Langford. Ward is banged up and not himself. He's not whole. And for him and his little brother Cassius Winston to take down Duke, Coach K, and the the one and dones over there, the All-Americans, the McDonald, all the phenoms. That's what's good about sports. That's what's the great moments for sports, for me to get kidnapped by the couch and really just sit there and tune in and watch something like that. I know sometimes we get to harping on players first, and now I just got another message. We talk about players first and player equity and freedom, but sometimes it needs to be some kind of balance in all of that, because we still need some structure out there to make this thing worth to make this thing worth tuning into. So it was just awesome to sit there and watch those coaches get out of those players what they were able to put together, one of the oddest Final Four fields that I've ever seen, with the Texas Tech Raiders, Auburn. I guess Tony Bennett finally getting it. And then Tony Bennett, for him to overcome what they had to come after getting bounced in the by a 16 seed last year in the first round as a number 1 seed. So just phenomenal experience to sit there and watch teams, just an entire team, rise to that level and execute and to accomplish the mission at hand. So that was phenomenal. So again, I'm gonna get off here and check this video, man, to see if this audio even I keep it on mute when I'm at my desk, and I come out here and then I forget, and today I didn't have my microphone with me, so I might have messed this up. But that's just a little afternoon wood. Let me get on out of here. Again, rest in power to the late Nipsey Hussle. I'll continue to see what comes out of that, and what develops in terms of the lead, and that text that he had out there, that's, for the timing, that's something I guess that could be talked about for years. It's a blessing to have such strong enemies. I mean, that's something to sit on and live with for a minute.